In this video, we're going to walk through activity 9.8, creating a connection request policy. Previously, we had set up Radius in our environment and a VPN server, and we had briefly mentioned some of the features we can do with our network policy server. Today, or in this activity, we get to create some of those policies. So here I am, I'm logged into server DC1, and I already have my network policy server up and running and is currently configured for Radius. On the left-hand side here under policies, we want to create a new connection request policy. I can either right-click on connection request policies and click new, or here I can click configure connection request policies. I guess, yeah, okay. Here we get to create our name, and I will go ahead and call this just a test CRP for connection request policy. There's no specific type of server we want to specify here, so we will go ahead and click next. Under the conditions of what is going to be allowed in this connection request policy, we can click add. And then we can select specific conditions that we want to allow, such as usernames, IP addresses, protocols, service types, tunnel types, as well as daytime restrictions, so that certain people can only log in at certain times, client vendors, caller stations, and so on. In this particular scenario, we are going to choose a tunnel type, and click add. Under the tunnel type, we're going to select 4 different types. We're going to choose GRE, generic route encapsulation tunnels, up here, and L2TP, so layer 2 tunneling protocol, PPTP, and SSTP. When this policy is applied, only those tunneling types will be allowed. So ESP will not be allowed, ATMP, DVS, IP over IP, and such will not be allowed. We'll say OK, and then next. Here on authentication, we can choose to go ahead and authenticate requests on this server. This is the default option, especially since this is a domain controller. That is ideal. Additionally, we can also choose accounting. For the most part, we would want to keep this on the same server that's doing the authentication. Next. Under the specify authentication methods, we can choose specific authentication types, such as MSCHAP v2, MSCHAP, CHAP, and so on. We are going to not select that and click next. And then in other settings here, we can go ahead and configure other attributes, such as in Radius, we can specify, for instance, which VPN types, or whether it's a wireless network connection. Close. Vendor specific settings, or even other attributes, such as the realm type right here. We're going to go ahead and say next, and then finish. And right there is our test CRP. You can see that that is below, with regards to processing order, our existing VPN connection. These policies will be applied in order. So the very first one will get evaluated, then the second, and then finally the last.